Good. Good morning, everybody. Today was a good day, kind of more of a mental day for us, going through a lot of different situations. Really been pleased. Had a really good stretch this week with three kind of push grueling practices. Our first game week, introduction to what that looks like. Obviously some newcomers, freshmen, transfers that have come in. It's kind of their first opportunity to get a sense of what that's going to look like. It was a little abbreviated just with us still having some time, so it was good to see how guys work through that. I like where we're trending. I like the mental focus that we're getting, the intensity that guys are bringing. As you get through now, I guess 17 practices of fall camp. I mean, it's there can be some monotony that shows up, and as we try to keep good balance, new situations, different things to have to force guys to think through. But I think this group has handled it well. They showed maturity. They showed a great deal of push throughout the practices. And, I like where we are. We'll have a speed day tomorrow. As we kind of ramp up. We'll have a mock game on Saturday. And then we'll jump into official game week, and I think these guys have put themselves in the right position as we're kind of breaking camp here at the end of Saturday, and then as you jump into game week, it's what you work the entire year for, and I know there's a lot of excitement for it within our team, and a lot of work that's been invested. So definitely looking forward to get started.
Coach, start with Ira over here.
Yeah, traditionally on Mondays of game weeks, you guys put out a good depth chart. When you guys are making decisions about like who's starting and who's not starting, is that communicated from position coach to the players? Or is it just, do they figure it out by the way practice goes?
Yeah, I mean, it's part of it. Guys are always battling for opportunity, and as we sit there and go through the what you see in practice and the way that goes in repetition. I mean, that's on players. It's obviously as we look at different dynamics of how guys might be utilized, certain packages. It's if you have 4 different personnel packages and the guy's starting in this handful of them and they're not starting in the others. Well, is he a starter? Is he not? It's still kind of up in the air. So depth charts to me are whatever they are, and I don't see really ultimately great value in putting one out and all of it. So we'll see what traditionally is done come here next week. But we're guys know. I mean, they know where they are and they're fighting for more.
We'll go to John on your left.
Talked about Jason Lopez just early on being able to see that he just wasn't like the other freshmen in terms of his mentality, but also just the skills he brings. Just how have you seen that carrying over as he's gotten closer to game week, like you were talking about, just the first time for some of those newcomers and freshmen? Yeah,
I mean, it's just the consistency, and I think that's one of the biggest challenges for a freshman coming in is there can always be when you have talented freshmen. This is the talented freshman class that we have, and I mean you see some great flashes. You see guys that have some really good weeks, but as you get going, I mean it's a lot. It's a major jump from high school to college. Just the physical wear and tear of what it takes, and the mental challenges, and just all the different situations, the different looks, the variations of things that guys might see, and just how you were able to maintain that consistent level of performance, and everybody has to work through it. And I mean, even use an example of Jason. Jordan Crutchfield's a guy defensively that's really emerging. I like a lot of what I'm seeing. You see those guys that. They've just been steadily getting better, and just have been very consistent in their approach and what they've been able to do. So I think we got a great group, and there's going to be some guys that are definitely going to help this football team throughout the course of the year. But that's what's kind of set them apart.
All right, stay over there for Colby.
When you mentioned competition there, I feel like one spot throughout fall camp, a lot of glowing remarks about your overalls, that backup cornerback position you bring in Quindarius, Nehemiah Chandler guys. Who's kind of maybe separated this last week?
I think I feel really confident in that group. I think as you mentioned this at the beginning of the week, when you look at Q, Jabril, what they've been able to do. Nehemiah has been somebody that he's definitely going to help his football team this year. He was a little limited here for the last week, and he's just back into full practice. You'll hear think yesterday, but I mean, he's shown the ability. Ricky Knight has continued to grow. Charles Lester. I think all those guys have put themselves in a good position to be able to make an impact. But I think Jabril and Q have had great camps, and those guys need to be great players. I think they have the capability. But there's also going to be, as I mentioned earlier, so I think there's some great opportunities with the versatility of a skill set within that corner group of different places where guys might show up and what they'll be able to do.
All right, we'll go up to Ryan, third row.
As you're wrapping up game week and kind of going into season prep mode, from week to week basis, for practice 1 to now, is there a certain data point on the grass where you feel like the team has grown the most from that practice to now?
Well, I mean, I think you want to see, just the overall execution. You throw so much, and even this morning we installed, a few things that you don't know if will show up in game 1, but you have to be prepared for. So, there's always there's a constant installation, which you'll see also throughout the season, just different things you might like for a game. But you have to have the foundation established, and then now it's about throwing every different look, different run schemes, different route concepts that you might face. You have to throw different fronts, blitzes, all the different dynamics of what you could see to within the base of what we do. And so now it's just the consistency of that execution, how guys are communicating, the pace of what you're able to play, and the fundamentals that are being utilized within that. So that's a work in progress. And I think this team has embraced the challenges of the mental part of it, and really it's been talking to somebody yesterday, just the intent of the details, the intent of the communication, guys that are working together, the extra work that you see them doing. I think it's really paid off. It paid off from coming from the summer into fall camp and where we were able to start, and I definitely think it's continued over through the bulk of what we've been able to do up to this point.
Come over here for Corey.
In an ideal world, 3 running back rotation, would you like to have one guy getting half the carries and the other 2 splitting the other half?
Yeah, obviously if you have a guy that shows that consistency, the durability, obviously the production, yes. And I've been fortunate to have a lot of great running back rooms. I think this is one that's very capable. And you see that if a guy can sit there and get 15, 20 carries, and you got guys that are at 10 to 15 around that. It's a great measure and balance, but those have to be earned reps. And if everybody's got different strengths, but I do believe that this is a complete room with guys with versatility. So I'm excited. I'm excited about how we're going to be able to utilize these guys. And also if you have 3 guys, that opens the door for some 2-back sets, some different things that you can do. And really, when you look at that room, every one of those guys, if they needed to split out and be able to run routes to be able to create separation, they're all capable of being able to do that, which, as an offensive coach, it just opens up the door for a lot of things that you can do. So we're excited about the room, but yeah, you would love to, you want your best players to be best players. And, if guys, you're earning 15 to 20 carries a game, then you want to see them be able to do that and be very productive in it.
Real quick, is Trey?
That's a 2-for-1.
It's a 2-for-1.
Without putting
Yes,
that in,
without-
he does not care who you call him.
Sorry.
He is this is his day press conference, Derek.
It just dawned on me.
No, it's good. Sometimes things just pop up.
Is Trey back working with the team? Do you expect him to be fully healthy and ready to go when the season starts?
Yeah, he was able to get back in practice here this week, and you feel confident about what that will look like here this next week. But if you would, all 2-for-1s, we I don't know, it's just customary that we like to
That's my
come
fault.
into that.
I'm new to this.
Ira.
Good.
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
I can't remember, do you break a rock at the end of camp?
We do. It's something we've done.
And I'm not asking you to break news here.
It's technically another 2-for-1.
This is
He asked a simple question. We should be able to move on
I'm
now.
trying to learn, I'm trying to get on his level. Is it gonna be a tough decision? Like, do you feel like you have a lot of people that are worthy of that distinction?
Yeah, no, I've been really pleased with this camp, and most coaches, very few coaches are coming here. Well, I hate what we just did, but in different teams, different areas of competence that has been built through their preparation, and then there's also areas year in and year out where you're like, all right, well these are some of the areas of concern or things. And I mean, I've been really pleased with this football team and just their mindset, you know, the production, the growth, you know, how they've responded to the back and forth. You know, that's, you can usually get a pretty good sense of the emotional maturity of a team through how they handle the ups and downs of fall camp. Because if you have one side that is just, you know, dominating every day, and you know, then some unknowns are going to show up, you know, that as you get into a season. But as you see guys if the defense has a good day, you know, what's the offensive response, you know, vice versa, and then guys individually, if they have, you know, a day where maybe they miss a tackle or they miss, you know, maybe drop a ball or miss a throw, whatever that is, you know, what is that next day, or even within a practice, what does that look like? And I've been pleased with just the emotional maturity that these guys have showed throughout fall camp. And so yeah, I mean, it will not be an easy decision, because there are a lot of guys that have really rose to the challenge of what we wanted.
Peter?
Coach, with the offensive line, Herb Ham said that the offensive line is not complete set in stone with starting five, but isn't that like a good problem to have, that there's like an option of the guys are still fighting for that spot?
Well, I'd say that I feel good about our offensive line, and so that would be the good problem to have. If there wasn't, we have guys that are absolutely pushing for, I mean, just as they're growing in their consistency, understanding, you know, what they've been able to put on the field here throughout the last, you know, 2.5, 3 weeks, is, you know, they put themselves in that conversation. So, you know, I feel good about that group. I feel good about, you know, the first 5 that will be running out there, you know, here a little over a week from now. I feel very confident in what they'll be able to do and what that'll look like. But it's definitely been a very competitive, you know, fall camp, and you know, I feel like we've got, you know, 7, 8 guys that are all very capable of being in that discussion.
Good time for 2 more, Chris?
You mentioned Nehemiah being banged up. Corey asked about Trey with his 2-on-1. Generally, how's that help with the team?
It is. It's good. You know, obviously you mentioned, you know, losing Carson was a big hit for us. You know, I was really excited about what, you know, expecting from him this year. But it's been good. You know, and I'll tell you, even before game week, you know, Mekhi Bayer, Jaden Boggs, like those guys getting back. You know, that I truly was anticipating that being a game week decision in week 1. But I think both those guys have shown that they're going to be fully ready to go. They got cleared, you know, to be able to participate, and it's been good seeing that push. So, you know, getting 2 guys that we expect to be, you know, major contributors for us, getting them back even, you know, a couple weeks early. It was a great job by our athletic training staff, by those guys in their rehab. But you know, as a whole, I feel good about where we are. Still a couple things that we'll see as we get in throughout the course of this weekend, but you know, I feel good, you know, overall.
All right, we'll end with.
You wanted to 2 for 1.
I
Just
want-
go ahead and
I
do
want-
it.
I'm
Just
correct.
go ahead. Just go ahead. I mean,
You
nobody
mentioned-
gives a crap about Derek and his order right now. So
Otto was a guy you mentioned last week, was limited some. Just how does he fit into that?
he back.
Feedback. Good.
All right, we'll end with John.
Just how do you define?
How many questions do you want?
I just got one here. It's-
All right. If you decide that you want another one, go right ahead. Nobody cares today.
What's your definition of success for yourself in the program this season? Does that come from something that's a win total, or is that like what you were talking about with the mentality and the resilience and the work and attention to detail in
I
practice?
mean, it's fulfilled potential, and I don't, you know, for me, it's the best of us showing up. And I've been on some really good teams. You know, I've seen teams that have, you know, some teams that have overachieved, some teams that have underachieved. And it's, for me, success is fulfilled potential. And I believe in the potential of this team. I believe in the work of what they've done to try to put themselves, as we go into game week here on, you know, starting Sunday, for the position they put themselves in, and just the mentality that they have. I mean, they'll fulfill potential, and it'll be a successful year. And you know, I believe in all things of what that can be.
All right, thank you, Coach.
So from now on.